Hello everyone, this is Kavita R from First MA English. In this video presentation, I will be analyzing the novel To Kill a Mockingbird by Nell Harper Lee. To Kill a Mockingbird, written by Nell Harper Lee, was published on July 11, 1960. The primary theme of this novel is racial injustice. Nell thinks injustice must be erased, and this novel is a first step towards fighting it. Born and raised in Monroeville, Alabama, Nell was the youngest of four children of Amasa Coleman Lee and Frances Finch Lee. Nell graduated as a law student. To Kill a Mockingbird is her first and a last novel, for which she got the Pulitzer Award in 1961 and Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2007. Since its publication, To Kill a Mockingbird has been popular and has always sold a million copies. The initial responses were mixed, and many reviewers said that this novel is great. Others found fault with Lee's use of narrative voice, asserting that she fails to effectively integrate the voice of the adult scout with the childish perspective of the young girl who narrates much of the novel. The novel is not about the mockingbird, even if the title of the novel is To Kill a Mockingbird suggests so. Atticus and Miss Maudie tell Jem and Scout repeatedly it is a sin to kill a mockingbird. The mockingbird represents true goodness and purity. Tom Robinson and Boo Radley are the example of human mockingbird because they represent true goodness and innocence that they should always be protected. Characters in this novel are based on Lee's personal experience. To Kill a Mockingbird is set in Macomb County, an imaginary town in southern Alabama. The period of the story is some 30 years before the growth of civil rights movement. Through the setting of the novel, we learn in detail about the American society, especially the southern state of America in the 1930s. The novel is narrated in the first person point of view by the protagonist Scout Finch. The narration does not comment much on the incidents happen, instead presents what happens as a series of facts. Scout is a neutral character as she does not have any prejudice, who is still learning and does not have much experience about discrimination in the society. The naivety of the narration makes the novel more interesting. Thank you for listening to this video. I hope you all have a nice day.
The Help by Catherine Stockett. The Help was written in 2009 by an inspirational and creative author, Catherine Stockett. Due to this book's overwhelming success, historical references, and significant theme, it has become a bestseller and turned into a motion picture film. The story is set in the early 1960s and is based upon three different women and their struggles to independence and injustice. It is about the process and journey of writing a novel from the perspective of the Help, the Black Maids in Jackson, Mississippi. The Help illustrates that even in terrible circumstances of injustice, women can rise up and overcome this strong female leader in their communities. The power of female relationships and courage are dominant themes in this novel. It is through the stable and caring relationship between Minnie, Evelyn, and Skeeter that each woman can find their true potential as well as courage. Evelyn. Amongst these independent women, the main character, Evelyn, embodies what a strong female role model is and the struggle to live in a society of racism and injustice. She embarks on a journey, and it is through her actions, works, thoughts, and relationships that she helps to establish these themes. She is the representation of flower because she blossoms into a stronger, colored woman with courage and more love. She understands the injustice that has been a part of her life forever and is inflicted upon colored people. However, she is at the beginning of the story afraid to stand up. Through Skeeter and Minnie, she finds the bravery she had been missing. Minnie. Minnie is Evelyn's best friend, who is known for her delicious cooking as well as her potty mouth. She is a hard-headed woman but extremely hardworking maid. Although courageous enough, Minnie develops throughout the story and contributes to the novel written by the Skeeter. She understands what is right and wrong and often speaks out against injustice. Skeeter. Skeeter Phelan is a well-rounded, determined young lady. She is a very ambitious but hard-headed girl who can determine within her society what is right and wrong, similarly to Minnie. She represents a new beginning for the town of Jackson, Mississippi, but she herself is still subject to its problems. She has different ambitions than the normal and privileged young white lady. Skeeter becomes a symbol of courage as she develops the strength to write a novel from the point of view of the help. Theme of courage. These three women embody what courage is and display that even in the times of injustice or struggle, anyone can overcome it. The courage Skeeter has at the beginning of the novel is remarkable because she decides to create a novel illustrating the struggles the colored males have and to give them a voice. As a young white woman with the privileges, it is frowned upon to become close to the help or associate with them. Skeeter is not only privileged or white but smart and caring, unlike many of her friends. With the perseverance and determination to create this novel from the point of view of help, Evelyn and Minnie find the backbone to help her. Due to Skeeter's book of different and questionable topics, it sparks much controversy. The book she creates symbolizes a change within the society and strength to overcome that change. Thus, it generates change and goes against the social norm. Many characters are afraid to have change within their communities because they believe it is not right. The help like to keep quiet and are afraid to speak out, but through she creation of this novel, it develops their courage. The novel created by Skeeter demonstrates what happens when a social norm is broken. Chaos, anger, thoughts of wonder occurs because of the change and the break from routine. Conclusion. The Help was very easy to read and easy to understand the message portrayed. This novel is extremely comparable to many other novels such as To Kill a Mockingbird, Skeeter, The Secret of Bees, and Black Like Me. The Help is an exploration of the ways in which racism pervaded every aspect of social life. It offers an in depth meditation on the complicated effects that class has on people's social interaction, specifically with regards to race. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm going to talk about American literature, Toni Morrison beloved fiction. Now let's move on to author introduction. Colonel Anthony Warfield Morrison, born Clara Ann Green Warford, and she was born on Feb 1891 and she died August 5, 2019, known as Toni Morrison. Toni Morrison was an American novelist and she was an American literature poet. Born and raised in Lorain, Owen, Morrison graduated from Harvard University in 1953 with a BA in English. She earned a master's degree in American literature from Cornell University in 1955. First writings and teaching 1970 to 1966. Morrison had begun writing fiction as part of an informal group of poets and writers at Owen University who met to discuss their work. She uttered in one meeting with a short story about a black girl who longed to have blue eyes. Morrison later developed the story as his first novel, Bluest Eye, getting up every morning at 4 a.m. to write while raising two children on her own. Final years 2010-2019. In May 2010, Morrison appeared at Penn World Voices for a conversation with Marilyn Van Eyck and Gwen Anthony about South African literature, specifically Van Eyck's 2004 novel Agate. Now let's move on to Beloved Summary. On the edge of Cincinnati, just after the end of the Civil War, there is a house number 124 that is haunted by the presence of a dear child. A former slave named Sita has lived in the house. This goes for 18 years. Sita lives at 124 with a daughter Delver, and her mother-in-law, Baby Sachs, died 8 years previously after languishing for years with exhaustion and seeming overwhelming sadness, and her two sons, Owen and Bugler, ran away from the haunted home just before Baby Sachs' birth. Paul D. He is a school teacher, a former slave who used to work on the same plantation called Sweet Home. As Seth arrives at 124 and smooths in, making a kind of family with Delver and Siti. Paul D. awakens painful memories for Sitan and Delver. He's jealous of the attention and affection that Sitan gives to him, but just as Delver is getting used to the new family arrangement, the stage woman appears at the house. She calls herself Blood and says that she doesn't know who she is or where she is from. Willow asks the many questions, said the many questions were past and her own birth, and she accepts Sweet Home while pregnant with Delver and almost died of anger when Session were trying to make to own Ohio. But a white woman named Jaime Delver found Sita cared for her and helped her get to the Ovian River, where she gave birth to Delver, said the name Delver after the kind white woman. The Marvel moves back in time to follow Baby Sachs, and she waits for Sitan and her son, Helen Sita's husband. Sitan has snapped her child out of Sweet Home and sent them ahead to 124, and she and Helen are supposed to accept together and come to the house. Helen never arrives, but Sita does, and Baby Sachs is happy to have at least Sita and her children reunited. And this is the family, they again reunited in that place. So this is the end of the story, and thank you so much for watching this video.
Invisible Man by Rolf Ellison. Rolf Ellison was an American writer and literary critic and scholar best known for his Invisible Man novel. The novel was awarded National Book Award in 1953. Invisible Man was published in the year 1952 and written by an African American author who is Rolf Ellison. It won the National Book Award for Fiction in 1953, and also Ellison was awarded the National Medal of Arts in 1985. Invisible Man's protagonist is a young black man whose name is never given in the text. He grows up in the Jim Crow southern region of US and is driven to try achieve professional skills. However, he quickly finds that event is an exclusive force young black men to entertain the white people by boxing them. Several years later, the protagonist angers the college president, and many other further details has been given. The president punishes him and sends him New York City, obstinately just for the summer, so he can learn to interact with white people in a professional way. The protagonist works in several areas to earn something for himself. Here, the protagonist finds a job with an organization called the Brotherhood of Man as a community activist and orator. The Brotherhood works under what seems to be a secret and which appeals to the ethics, and protagonist he enjoys the work for a while and becoming familiar with other activities in Harlem where he's based. After a few months of growing disagreement and contentions between the Brotherhood and the protagonist, he sends out of Harlem for a while. Upon his return, he finds that Brotherhood was abandoned its work in Harlem, leaving the people in assisted desperate without resources. Ellison combines a psychological and social storyline in Invisible Man, examining the effects of racism on his protagonist and his ability, nonetheless, to rise above the difficulties he encounters to craft his own sense of self. Themes: racism, limitations of ideology, the illusory promise of freedom. Thank you.
I'm Lovita. I'm going to talk about the major characters that had been explored in the novel Seize the Day novel by American author Charles Bruno. published in 1956. This short story novel examined one day in the unhappy life of Tommy Wilhelm. Like many of the Bellows' other novels, Seize the Day exhibits an ambivalent attitude towards the worldly success, and it follows it sensitive protagonist quest for the meaning in a hostile world. Tommy Willem, the protagonist of the novel, sees the day he is kin deep in a financial trouble. He is invested in the stock market through a broker who was a fraud. Tommy went to Hollywood to be an actor, dropping out of the school, but there he was tricked by the another fraud and he failing in acting. He was a man of 50, separated from the wife and two kids, had no job but big alimony to bear. He kept failing to make money and asking his father for help, who denies to help him in any way. Dr. Adler, he is a retired doctor and the father of Tommy. He is a well-to-do old man living out of his retired life in a hotel, pretty lavish, but disappointed in his two children who failed to make a life for themselves. Adler keeps telling Tommy to turn his life around and scolding him for his way of life. He strictly denies to assist any of his children financially to what it seems like teach them a lesson so that they learn to take a responsibility. Margaret, she is Thomas' wife who had separated from him but disagreed to get a divorce. He wanted to teach Tommy a lesson for cheating on her and keep asking for more and more money from him for the sake of their two kids bringing up. Olive is she is the Catholic girl. Wilhelm had fell in love with him and cheated on his wife with Olive wanted to marry him after he got a divorce, but Margaret made sure that never happened. Wilhelm had the dearest of memory with her and wanted to marry her. Catherine, Wilhelm's sister in her 40s, she was an aspiring artist, still wishing for a financial assistance from her father. According to her father thought she was no good at painting and hence he was by the such demand of his daughter.